First this evening, let's queer up drag culture. Drag Race stars launch voter drive for Kamala Harris in Chicago. Drag Race legends Jinkx Monsoon, Alaska Thunderfuck, Monét X Change, Miss Peppermint, and BenDeLaCreme are taking the stage in Chicago this week for a vibrant and political event. The queens are joining forces with local star Lucy Stoole to host Drag Night Chicago, a voter registration Kiki, on Wednesday, coinciding with Kamala Harris's official Democratic National Convention nomination. The event will also feature local drag performers Detox, Willam, Bambi Banks-Couleé, Sheeza Woman, Sativa Diamond, and Dusty Bahls. This celebration marks the debut of Drag PAC, launched on June 28th to mobilize the LGBTQ plus community and allies, aiming to increase democratic voter registration and turnout for the 2024 elections. BenDeLaCreme said, quote, "We are queer people. We have to recognize that we are part of a community," end quote. Miss Peppermint added, saying, quote, "It's our job to keep things moving in the right direction. How you vote matters, and it literally defines the future of not just the country, but your cities, your communities, and your people," end quote. In the face of recent anti-LGBTQ plus legislation, Drag PAC's mission is more crucial than ever. Jinkx Monsoon urged followers to, quote, "fight fiction with fact," stressing the importance of voting against misinformation and bigotry. And this is exactly how you do it, right? You do it big time. You do it on a big way, or you do it in a small way. You do it however you can. You get the people that you know together and start spreading the word. This is a beautiful thing. You know, we all have to come together and fight, you know, and I love what Jinkx said. I mean, she hit it right on the nose. Fight fiction with fact. The misinformation that's out there, that rhetoric, right? It's what hurts us at every corner. You know, the people that don't know us or maybe don't have LGBTQ plus people in their lives, which is weird because everybody has somebody, right?
They think they don't.
They think they don't, and they're the ones who believe these horrible things that the right says about us, right? Informing folks, educating folks, getting people out there, letting them know, especially queer people. Queer people for a long time have thought, my vote doesn't count. Why bother? Why even bother to get my voter registration up to date? You know, trans people have such issues when their documentation doesn't match and they want to, you know, last election, if your signature was a little bit off, they were turning you away. You know, I mean, we are at a crossroad right now. We've got to make sure all our ducks in a row and these queens are using their talent to make that happen.
And kudos to the DNC, because this is really just taking what the GOP has used against our community, the drag queens, the trans. This is just taking that and embracing and saying, you know what? Here you go.
Yeah.
And saying right on stage, this is what we support. We are embracing this community full throttle. And I saw BenDeLaCreme on someone's show on MSNBC last week, and she was so fabulous. Just, it came on as a boy, and it was just fantastic. And talking about this upcoming performance and all the people involved, I mean, what a star-studded event.
Right?
Wow.
To quote Pretty Woman.
To quote Pretty Woman.
When you went after drag queens, big mistake. Huge. You took the people who MC our events, who have been activists at the core of our movement forever, and really try, just like you said, you know, to point them out and make them the bad guys. You have literally now given them a microphone and deserve everything that's coming to you.
And it's a beautiful example. It's a beautiful example set for our community as a whole, because as I've been saying for a very long time, we need to redefine community. We need to put into focus what community actually means. And this election, this election really helps us to redefine that, really helps us to gather together for a cause. And it always shows, the history shows, that when we show up in numbers, we sway the votes. We swing the states. We swing the votes in our direction. So back to your point, Faye, your vote does count. That is the propaganda machine that instills in people's head that your vote doesn't count so that you don't vote. Yeah. If people only knew how much money and how much tactics go into making you sit on your ass and not go out to vote, you would actually get up off your ass and go vote in order for them to waste their money. Yeah.
Do not stay on your couch like JD Vance.
No.
I mean,
Well, he's face down on the couch, so it's a little bit.
This is very historic, especially for I feel like the year 2024 is the year of the drag queen, because I mean you're getting to see them on such high platforms. I mean, in the Olympics and the DNC, and it's like, wow, what visibility that they're getting, and positive, visibility. So, because you hear all of these horrible stories about our community and stuff, and here they are being regarded on the highest platform, and then you get to see Vice President Kamala Harris on shows like RuPaul's Drag Race, embracing the communities like that. It's inspiring.
And that meant so much to me. Something so small like that, like her opening up Drag Race. I don't know why it touched me, right? Like it felt like she was like, it was like she was at Hunters, right? Like, it was like, I felt like she was just like at Wilton, you know what I mean? Like, and there's just an invigoration that Kamala has brought back. I mean, even to the point where, going back to thinking that your vote doesn't count. We live in Florida. Right? It's a very red state. It's, and when you have the villages coming out, 400, 500 golf carts for Kamala.
That's major.
We could probably turn this state also if we all came out and voted and made sure.
And we actually could. If you go to Impulse Group Miami, our IG, our Impulse for Florida data has shown that when Trump won the last election, only by 300,000 votes, it was 2 million registered voters in Florida did not vote. And so if we would have shown up, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
The same happened with DeSantis in his last election. There were about 317,000 that he won by. And a massive number of us did not show up to vote. And that is the problem. People sitting on their ass, just letting things by, but then they want to get online and complain.
Right.
I vote in every election.
Right.
So therefore, that's why my mouth is really nasty and really raw, and I don't care because I earned the right to, because I vote in every single election. Your circuit judges, the person that sits on the committee council, I vote in every election.
Yeah.
And so when you vote, then you can bitch.
Then you get the right to complain, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, actually, I went to the polls last week. I voted last week, and there were a lot of people there.
Good.
I mean,
Good. Good. And again, this goes to like in whatever scale you can do this, right? Big scale or small scale. Even at our church, at Unity on the Bay, we've got someone there at a table saying, hey, would you like to check your registration, make sure that it's up to date, right? Small organizations, big organizations should be doing the same. We've all got to make sure. If you're sleeping with 5 people, those 5 people better vote.
Yeah.
All right? Or you don't give them no say.
And make sure they know who to vote for.
And also, you don't have to vote in order to move. If you can't vote, you can do other things. You can move the vote. You can get out and spread the word. If you can't vote, there are so many other things that you can actually do in order to get people up and get off of their asses to move. Even using your private parts, like with whole sex. With whole sex.
I'm just saying. Do you think that I have reason? I'm worried about the mail-in ballots, right? Like my wife has always voted mail-in, right? And I'm making her go to.
Well, there was a major mess up with that because people didn't know that it was expiring. And people just didn't know that they had to re-up for the.
Yeah, there's I mail in.
Everybody's on.
Yeah, it's a tactic by the GOP to
So folks, if you usually vote by mail and you haven't received something, go find your voter registration.
Because it's
look
too
up
late
your name
to get.
online.
It's too late to get.
Too late to vote to get it now.
I think it's not for the general. It's not too late. I think I forget.
For the primary, it's too late. But for the general election, you can still
you can still get
make
your
sure
mail
that you re-up. I had the same issue. They sent me something in the mail, and it actually went to my grandmother's house instead of to my house. And my grandmother called me, and she was like, "Make sure." My grandmother's always on our ass. Make sure that you get your mail-in ballot. And my mail-in ballot came like a week later, and it's actually sitting right next to me. And I'm going to drop it off at the polling station because there are drop-off locations.
Every single one.
QR code on your mail-in ballot that you can go and drop it straight off as soon as you bubble in all of it.
And at the last election, you were able to, and I think it's going to be the same this time, but you could check to make sure that your mail-in ballot
Yes.
have been received and counted.
They will.
So
I love that.
more to your question, you don't have to sit there
I love that.
and wonder. You can verify that you.
There's a little
Great to know.
There's a little
Right?
section on the mail-in ballot. You have to put your email address and your phone number, and they will text you and they will email you once they receive the ballot. They have been texting me and emailing me because they haven't received my ballot. Broward is very good at that, and soon as they receive it, they will text you and email you and say, we have received and your vote has been counted.
I love that. I love that.
Going to just put one more thing
Please.
about voting, is I think that one reason a lot of people don't is when you open it up, it can be really intimidating to see all of those different races and judges and commissioners and all that, and you can just feel kind of paralyzed in the research. But you can also just lean on organizations
Like Save.
like Dolphin Democrats would be one that I know is very
Save.LGBT,
active, where you can go
Equality
to
Florida.
organizations that really care about you, and they'll tell you what's the best idea as far as a vote. So don't let it intimidate you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. See, the more you know, folks. Queer News Tonight, educating you.
And
See?
just to bring it back to the drag queens, hooray for BenDeLaCreme and all the girls.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Even Crazy Willam.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, we love them all.
We love 'em all.